Hello, and thank you for joining us on today's webinar. Now, I'm going to introduce you to Dom in a minute, but I wanted to kick off with, we were chatting about this webinar when we were planning it. And we both aligned on something that I found so refreshing, in that our goal in this entire webinar is to give you as much value as possible. That's the pure and simple goal. We've packed as much insights and strategies and tips into this webinar as physically possible, and our goal ultimately is that you all walk away learning as much as possible. That's our prime main goal. And I'm very excited. I always love seeing a good energy in the room with the people attending. I think we're going to have a lot of fun today, and it's all focused around generating and closing more sales, especially inbound leads, with AI, but without sounding robotic, without falling into the trap of, how a lot of companies unfortunately end up using AI. We want to show you some real human ways of doing it, and powerful ways of doing it. I think we've kind of had AI come in, everyone got really excited about it, started using it, probably not the right way. And now the tools are getting better and we're starting to see huge potential. So very excited to dig into that today. We'll do a quick introduction and then we'll get straight into it. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Daniel Disney. I am a LinkedIn sales, social selling speaker, author, and trainer, and the founder and owner of The Daily Sales as well. And we do webinars like this, again, to try and help give as much value as possible. And what's exciting about today is I am joined by someone who kind of feel is a bit of a kindred spirit. I think we had such a great conversation when we were putting this webinar together, and we're sort of definitely on very similar mindset. So I'm going to hand it over to my wonderful co-host today. Dom, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Daniel. Yes, welcome everybody again, and nice to meet everybody. Dom Chiarenza, head of sales here at SalesAPE. I've been in the SaaS software world for 15 years by now. Sentiment's the same, Daniel. I feel really excited to chat with you today and go through some of the stuff.
Love it, love it. And Dom is joining us from SalesAPE, and SalesAPE have kindly put this together for you. They are supporting this webinar to help us provide it today. And SalesAPE is one of those sales AI tools that, again, I think is this transition of AI being used the right way to actually help sales teams. So Dom, can you just tell us a little bit about SalesAPE.ai, how it works and
Sure.
how people can use it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, on a high level, SalesAPE is an inbound AI agent that automatically qualifies your leads as they come in, but done in such a way where it's very humanistic and not robotic, like we talked about before. And when you're talking about an organization or a company that it gets a couple of hundred leads a month, maybe you have a small sales team, maybe it's just you, maybe you have a couple of BDRs or appointment setters. What we do is we allow those leads to be followed up with instantaneously via text-based channels to ensure that you're getting every dollar out of the marketing spend. We all know marketing isn't cheap. It's very effective and it's important, but it's not cheap. So where we come in is we make sure you're getting everything you can out of that spend.
And I think it's done in such a great way, because qualification, I think, is one of the most underutilized strategies in both sales and marketing. I don't think marketing usually do it as well as they could. And salespeople are kind of the same. We're also desperate to get volume and quantity. And actually, we end up just wasting our time, we waste their time, and it's this vicious cycle we get stuck in. And what I love about
Right.
SalesAPE is making that qualification process easier and essentially out of the sales and marketing hands, where it's done for you. I would pay a lot of money to have something that's going to help me get qualified quality leads, as opposed to just anyone and everyone that you then have to qualify and go. It takes time, and we're all limited. We all have the same 24 hours a day.
That's right. And it's forgotten, really. Like you mentioned, marketing is focused on lead gen. Salespeople are focused on sales, and sometimes we forget that there's a really important piece in the middle there. How do we get as many of those people or leads on the phone and get the right ones on the phone? And quite often, then it becomes a finger pointing game. Oh, it's marketing's fault. Oh, it's the salespeople's fault. But ultimately, if the technology is there to make sure that we're just qualifying it right away, uh, everybody can be friends, just like you and me, Daniel.
Exactly. Now you can go and see SalesAPE in action completely free. You can literally go and sort of test it yourself, use it, see it, how it works. We're going to do an offer, the slides at the very end, but tell you about it now. The first 15 people to go and try SalesAPE for themselves will get a free copy of my book. You just need to send me a screenshot. We'll go through the logistics at the end. It will be in the follow-up email. The QR code is there. I'll make sure that link is put in the follow-up email with the recording, etc. But just to plant it in your heads now, I would highly recommend go and look at it for yourself. I think every company would dream about having something like this built into their website, especially as a salesperson, knowing that when a lead gets to me, it's gone through that filtering process. That's a huge weight off. I can get very excited then about the leads that are coming in, not just
Right.
thinking, here's another lead for marketing. I wonder if it's going to be any good.
No, that's right. Well said.
Perfect. All right, let's get into the juicy stuff. That's what we're here for. Dom, again, we talked about this the other day. There are webinars run in all different fashions. And obviously, it's so great that companies like SalesAPE allow us to provide these, but we don't want it to lean too heavy into the promotional side of things. We really want to give
Sure.
value. That's my mission, and I love that it's yours as well. So let's get into the good stuff. And we want to focus around conversion rates because I think this is quite a depressing statistic, really. Average B2B conversion rates sit around 2 to 5%. I mean, you get similar numbers when you talk about cold call success rates, and they're so low. And don't get me wrong, it's a conversion rate, but we want to try and, increase that as much as possible. I think our time is valuable, our customers' time is valuable. Sales has never been more competitive than ever before. And so if we can make more of the time we have and make better of the prospects and opportunities we get, then it can have a much bigger impact. So me and Dom sat together and have put together a strategy, a process to help you create and close more leads with AI and social selling. Obviously, I've packed as many LinkedIn tips into this as possible. So here is our AI inbound conversion playbook. We're going to go through each of these strategies, and then we'll show you this visual at the end. By the way, quick logistics, the whole thing's being recorded. I will send you the slides. I will send you the full recording, some bonus goodies. So please do take notes, but I will be sending you all the wonderful slides to help you, bring this to life afterwards.
And
With
and
that,
Daniel, when we take a oh
oh, go
sorry,
on.
go ahead.
No, 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 go for it.
No, I was going to say when we take a look, I really like this slide here because what we talk about is a very traditional way of following up on leads where traditionally we've always used email-based cadences and things
Yeah,
that aren't necessarily quote unquote smart. And I feel like as business leaders and salespeople and marketing people, we sometimes get caught in the idea that we could just use email cadences and we could just throw people into just a pre-written email, where an AI tool, whether it's SalesAPE or anything else, allows that cadence to not be a cadence, but to actually be an actual conversation. So when you're looking at the AI inbound conversion playbook, automating those smart follow-ups is really almost like no automation needed. It's just the smart follow-ups just exist, and it's a super interesting way to do business.
I love it. And I've seen so many people talking about this. We've come out of the outreach sales loft era where it was
Right.
just mass email cadences spammed out, these big automations, and very rarely personalized, very rarely relevant, and definitely not very human. And I do think the AI evolution and what we're seeing with amazing tools like SalesAPE is it's becoming a lot more of an actual solution because people are tired of that old playbook now. So it's nice to
Right.
see a refreshed version that is ultimately better for everyone. It's better for the customers because they're getting qualified in or out, so their time is valued. Better for the salesperson. Like it's a win-win scenario. And for me, I think that's so important in sales.
And just, I'm sure you've been there too, Daniel. 8 p.m. in Sales Loft or wherever else, writing out these emails. When should I send it out? Day 3, day 5? Should I mix in a phone call? We've all been there, and somehow the we can never really find the right the correct way to do it. But it's just AI just makes it a whole lot easier. The
It
right
really
formula.
does.
I
It
couldn't
really
think of the
does.
word.
One more thing, by the way, to everyone who's here with us, and again, thank you for joining us. If you have any questions at all about anything we're going through, pop them in the chat box. We will answer as many as we physically can in the time we've got today. So any questions you've got or any thoughts you have, contributions, pop them in the chat box. And one final thing I'll add, just because we're talking about generating customers, pop a link to your LinkedIn profile in the chat box and connect with each other. You have no idea that there could be a potential customer here in this webinar already. I love to connect people as well. So if you want to network and connect, just pop a link to your LinkedIn profile and connect with each other. I like that to be the little cherry on top to these things. Okay,
Great.
got some scary statistics, which again really bring to life the importance of this. But the first stage is responding to new leads, and speed to lead is such a big topic in sales and marketing. What's quite scary is that the average sales lead response time is still around 42 hours, which is quite a shocking amount of time. When you think, like, if I was to think I needed a piece of software right now and I'm doing some research and maybe I filled in some forms or whatever it may be, I'm fresh in my mind. I'm thinking about it. I'm learning. I'm in that mindset. Every minute that passes, that drops down. I'm distracted. I'm doing other things. And if we think 42 hours, I probably would have forgotten 99% of whatever I'd learned or researched or was thinking about at the time. Now, optimal response time is sub 5 minutes, which increases the chance of connecting with your prospects and customers by 100 times. I mean, Dom, you must have seen this both from being a salesperson, but also a
Right.
consumer, a decision maker yourself.
Of course, yeah, and a more B2C example, but I recently moved into a house and I'm not handy. I like to tell the story that I could try to swing a hammer, but I put a hole in the wall and I'll miss the nail. So, I had gone to one of the big box stores here in the States, that one of the big hardware stores everybody knows about, and just put out a request to put in a floor. And it goes out to 6 or 7 different contractors, and it takes sometimes a couple of hours, 3 4 hours pass. I finally get somebody here, and they're fixing my floor the next day. While I'm paying the guy, everything's all done. I still have people requesting the job and asking if I need help. I'm like, hey, listen, this floor's already done. I'm already paying the contractor. So, and
Yeah.
this is just a small microcosm, I think, of a bigger business issue where there's just not enough emphasis on leads that come in. There could have been other people that if they would have followed up sooner than an hour, they would have had my business. And it's not me being spiteful, it's just me wanting to get things done really quickly. Of course, that's B2C, but I think the same principles apply there.
Oh, it really does. And I've seen this, I'm based in the UK. I would say 60, 70% of my customers are US based. Now, because
Mm,
of that, I'll get inquiries coming through late into the evening. And, I have those moments where it's like, I'll respond the next day. But actually, if I respond in that moment, the conversion rates jump massively.
oh,
Now,
for
again,
sure.
not condoning working 24/7. I certainly don't. You juggle and balance the hours out. But what I definitely experience is the increase in conversions the quicker you respond. Now, that's very hard when we all are limited to how many hours we can work. And again, I don't want to encourage people to work more than you need to. We don't want people to sort of burn out. But this is where AI and social selling, I'm going to show you some LinkedIn tips on how you can do this as well. But this is where I think AI and especially tools like SalesAPE are really, really valuable because it does it for you. And that's for me what AI is here for, like having your own assistant, or I'm going to get
Yep.
nerdy, like Iron Man with Jarvis, the sort of AI that helps him. This is where it's powerful. So, Dom, tell us a bit about how SalesAPE does
Yeah.
this for you.
Trying to share some metrics here. So, um, I speak with a whole lot of different folks. I'm on a lot of sales calls. We use our own product, right? So we get, every salesperson in our company gets about a dozen calls a day. So I speak with a lot of people, and on average, roughly 20% before using agentic technology, 20% of leads turn into sales calls. And that's because of what we mentioned before, right? You're not following up right away. Maybe you're calling and somebody's picking up their kids and they can't call you back. What we're sharing is using our technology. You're looking at closer to 40%.
Wow.
That's not necessarily what the slide says there, but that's what the metrics are. So you're looking at closer to 40 or 44% of leads that come and actually, book as sales calls. So not only are they more qualified, but you're actually getting more. But conceptually, Daniel, it makes sense, right? Because you're following up right away. You're texting people and you're allowing them to respond back in their own time. The agent is very knowledgeable and conversational. So when you're putting all of the pieces of the puzzle together, it comes out to a very nice picture and allows, like, just connecting with what I mentioned about before, each one of those marketing dollars, the juice from the lemon gets squeezed out as much as it possibly could. And how it's done, just as soon as it hits CRM, the agent will just follow up and will continue to follow up until it's told not to.
I love that. And you can see that, it's kind of distant in the slide. You'll be able to see this when you get the slides at home, but you can kind of see there's the AI agent talking to the prospects and asking qualifying questions and taking them
Uh,
through that filtering, but doing it as and when the prospect is present. And then, as you say, following up after, which again, if I'm a salesperson, it's like having my own assistant out there working for me. And then, as and when these leads come through, I'm getting the pick of the crop, which values my time, values their time. And again, I think it's such a smart tool and a smart way of using AI. And am I right in understanding that it also is learning constantly? So it kind of gets better and better,
That's
Dom?
right.
Is that right?
Yeah, so inherently on its own, we have a proprietary technology that sits on OpenAI. We call thought chaining. So it has millions of sales conversations that it's able to call an action on. So when you're getting, at least our agent, and not to get salesy here, but so out of the box, essentially the sales agent is drilled down and is focused only on booking meetings. A lot of agents do a lot of different things, customer service and maybe, being a CSM and some other stuff. Ours is only really specialized in booking meetings, and that's why it's so good at it.
I love that. I love that. And that's, again,
Yeah.
for me, AI is talked about a lot, and I see a lot of people using it in bad ways, and it's, robotic, etc. But this is where I think AI has its place in the sales sphere. It's learning fast. It does things that help you sell better, help your customers experience a better customer experience, customer service. Again, sales for me and Domino the same. It's a win-win-win scenario. There's not an environment where anyone's doing better than the other. The customer wins, the salesperson wins, the business wins, everyone's happy. Um,
That's
Let me
right.
share some LinkedIn and social selling tips with this because again, replying quickly is massively beneficial, and you might be getting inbound leads on LinkedIn. Hopefully, if you're not, I'll put some little resources in the follow-up email with some tips on how you can generate more inbound leads. But one thing you can do on LinkedIn is set automatic replies. Now, you do need to have premium LinkedIn or Sales Nav. I know usually it's 50% of any webinar or training session I do has it. The others don't. It's a good, valuable feature. But you can set an out of office message. You don't have to be out of office, but whether it's evenings, weekends, have that set. So whenever someone does send you a message, straight away you're getting back to them, at least acknowledging receipt, telling them that you're off for the weekend or whatever it might be. And you can include some extra details in there, a phone number, a calendar link, so that they can book in themselves, a bit of information, a link to a folder with some valuable content. What this does is then allow you to follow up with an audio or video message when you're back, but it keeps that pattern of conversation going. And this is what it looks like, just so you can see it for yourself. You can set it, say a start date, end date, and obviously write a message within there as well. I think this is one of the better new features that LinkedIn's brought in the last couple of years, and it just helps you follow up quicker because chances are if they're messaging you, they're messaging others. And ultimately, it's a race. It's sales is competitive. It's a race to who gets there first and is able to then win it. The longer you wait, the more chance other people have of getting there before you. So I think using things like SalesAPE and definitely things like this within LinkedIn, imagine if you're responding that much quicker, how much more you can convert that way.
Yep. And LinkedIn is such a powerful tool for the B2B world. I can't reiterate it enough. So much business just sitting, waiting there to be explored.
Yeah. Valentin's asked a question. What are three ways to have a bad use of AI? I mean, we could do a whole webinar on bad ways of using it. I'll give a couple that just sort of spring to mind. Number one is the sort of robotic sounding messaging or even robotic sounding conversation where it is very clearly an AI, where there's no personalization, it's not learning, it's not been built the right way. Maybe they've just gone onto ChatGPT and asked it to generate some templates. Equally, you see that in the content sphere, people posting stuff on LinkedIn that again is very clearly not written by them, but by
Yep.
uh, by an AI tool. And there are lots of better ways of doing it, but I think it's that over reliance on AI to replace, and lazy people use it the wrong way, whereas smart people are looking for ways that it can enhance what they do. It's not replacing you, it's enhancing you. Do you agree, Dom?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I think it needs to be looked at as an intern almost. The intern will do some of the hard work for you, but ultimately you still need to do some of the critical thinking points. Like, you can't just, if you're filling out an RFP, decide you want to copy and paste the entire RFP into ChatGPT, which I know some people do, but you shouldn't do that because we have plagiarism issues and just other stuff that is just not a great experience.
No, 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 no. Okay, let's keep this train moving. Number two is talking about qualifying prospects and ideally automatically. Now, I'll share a quick story because I've managed hundreds of salespeople throughout my sales leadership career, and one salesperson will always stay top of mind as the best salesperson I have ever personally managed in my experience. And they were so good that they would achieve 200, 300% of their sales target every single month. And were so massively ahead of everyone else in the team. They were a real standout star. And I can promise you the main secret to their success was qualification. They were
Wow.
so good at it. And they joined their first month, I think they got 90% of their sales target. And that was their learning month. They never missed target thereafter. What they learned in that month helped them understand who the right customer was, what the right questions were to ask, and they became so good at qualification. Now, we talked about it at the start of the webinar. Problem with a lot of marketing and salespeople is it's a volume based role. It's a volume managed role, and equal attention to leaders who aren't leading the right way. But the focus and the pressure is on numbers. How many inbound leads have we got coming in? How many cold calls are you making? How many emails are you sending? How many LinkedIn messages are you sending? It's all about those numbers instead of focusing on the quality. And if we
That's
can
right.
qualify better, then again, everything becomes so much more efficient.
Yep. When you think about the best salespeople, obviously build relationships, build trust, and this exactly dovetails into your point. The best salespeople also know when to walk away, and sometimes that's early, sometimes that's a
Yep,
little bit later. If you think about, I just have this weird metaphor in my head, I'm going to use it. If you think of leads as just a bunch of apple trees in a huge farm, automatic qualification essentially puts a sign on each apple tree and lets you know which tree to climb up, so you're not wasting your time climbing up the wrong tree.
exactly. I think it's a great analogy. And wasting time is just something that we have a lot of less patience for than we may have had in the past. Everyone is
Right.
so just wanting to be as efficient as possible. Your customers, again, they have the power of choice. They don't have to answer calls. They don't have to respond to emails or messages. And as salespeople, we're all limited. We all want, in an ideal world, who wouldn't want just good quality leads over, a random database? And the stats reflect it. On average, 79% of marketing generated leads never convert. I mean, that's scary. And we're not here to focus heavily on marketing. There's a lot of stuff you could dig into on that one. But good qualification can impact those win rates significantly. And so, Dom, tell us a bit about how SalesAPE qualifies fast, and then I'll share some LinkedIn tips on how you can
Yeah.
qualify fast as well.
For sure. So using, like we talked about a little bit earlier, the thought chaining technology that we have. So it understands the questions to ask. If something is thrown that's a curveball, it'll know to get the conversation back going in the right direction. So inherently, based on how it's been taught already, we'll know how to qualify. But then in addition to that, we're going to help train the agent for your particular business, the questions you want to ask. Maybe you only work with people with a specific level of income, or maybe a specific amount of business revenue, or maybe you don't work in a specific vertical. So you're able to predetermine all of these different parameters within the agent. And then when the agent is chatting with that potential customer, it's able to reference those parameters and able to determine based off of sales as a whole, but also generally what you feel is important as a business. It's able to determine who to move forward and who not to move forward. And look, you could tighten the screws. I have some companies that just get so many leads, and the agent needs to be incredibly picky, and
Mhm.
others just open up the faucet and let a lot of things go through. So it allows you to do a little bit of both and play a little jazz there.
I love that. And looking, sort of further down the process, what happens when it either qualifies someone in or out? So if it gets to through the questions and it decides, what happens then? And then if it gets to the end and actually they tick all the boxes, what is the next step?
Yeah, so every agent will have a goal. The vast majority of agents' goal is to book a meeting on a calendar. So then at that point, it'll hand off to Calendly or whatever you're using for a maybe Chili Piper if you're using something for lead routing or for booking. Oftentimes, maybe you don't want it to lead to a calendar. It'll just do, hey, I'll have somebody call you back soon, and then in the background, the salesperson will get an email or get a notification or whatever. So it could be either, but I think for me, I prefer getting people to book on the calendar right then and there
Mhm.
because that just goes into the theory that front of mind, let's book right now, let's not wait, like we talked about earlier.
I love that. The idea of walking in and having things in my calendar that are qualified. I mean,
That's exactly, yeah, that's exactly
that's a
that's how we
utopia
run our
for
business. I mean,
salespeople.
yeah, that's why I moved here. And I'm like, wow, this is the world that I could live in. I'm just gonna wake up and get 10 calls on my calendar. Yes, please.
I mean, I worked in sales before AI and even before social media, and honestly, this is all game-changing stuff. Very, very exciting. Okay, let me bring some social selling tips on this one. So you can pre-qualify people on LinkedIn without having to do anything yourself. There are a few different ways you can do this. Number one, your LinkedIn banner image and LinkedIn summary should make it crystal clear what it is you do, who you help, the problems you solve, etc. But it can also take people through that sort of qualifying funnel so that people read it and either they think, oh, yeah, that's me. That's a problem I have. That's a problem I want to solve. I want those results, those ROIs, etc. Or people will get through and think, well, not relevant to me. Of which, again, you're filtering out the people that are going to waste your time. So, quick example, there are a couple of tools you can use to do stuff like this for free. I use Canva, or Adobe have a really good free platform for doing background images, and it's literally just drag and drop. But I think you can tell sort of quite quickly what it is I do. And that's the whole goal. You just want it to be as easily visible as to what it is you do to help. And that goes within your summary as well. You want to be, a lot of people write their summary like a about you statement on a CV. And actually it should be more about your customers. You should be answering these questions. Who do you help? How do you help? What do you help people achieve? How have you helped similar people, and how can they get in touch? And in practice, this is what it looks like. And again, you can go to my profile and use it as a template in essence, but you can see it's written in an engaging way. It goes in a nice flow. It answers all those questions, takes people on that journey, and then has contact details at the end for them. What happens is when people go on your profile, the right people become interested. You convert the right people, and the wrong people move along onto the next one. So a few quick top tips just for your summary section. And if anyone wants me after the webinar today, if you want me to review your profile, just ping me a message on LinkedIn or reply to the email with the recording, and I'll happily take a little look as a thank you for joining in today. Include spaces between your sentences. Remember, people are scrolling, so big blocks of
Mm.
texts scare people away. Optimize it with industry keywords, focus it on your customers, use it to qualify in and out, have those contact details, and then there's a featured section you'll see, upload some exciting media into that as well. And that can help massively increase the quality of people that, come through on LinkedIn for you. Let's move on to number 3 then, crafting high converting replies. Currently, salespeople are only spending around 30% of their time selling. I mean, it's a depressing statistic, Dom. We are so inundated with admin and that's system made up on the spot. I will happily find you the sources of all these statistics. And don't get me wrong, I agree. Statistics can tell a number of different stories in a number of different ways, but I'm pretty sure most people here will look at this, and actually, if you look at your day, the amount of time we spend on actual sales activities is definitely low. We are inundated with tools and admin and unnecessary internal meetings. The list goes on. Now, in a lot of big enterprise, big company structures, your main sales professionals, your account executives will have a sales development representative or a team of sales development representatives who are out there making calls and sending emails and social selling to generate business for them. And this is where, again, AI tools like SalesAPE kind of become that for everyone. Becomes something that anyone can access. It's not just the big companies that can benefit. It's kind of an open market. So, Dom, tell us a little bit how SalesAPE can help you achieve that.
Yeah, so just reiterating what we talked about a little bit earlier, the idea that you're not going to be climbing up the wrong apple trees, you're not going to be wasting your time with the wrong leads, and spending time really on your calendar, predetermined leads that you know that you can trust are going to be much more qualified. And then inherently, your salespeople will put more effort. They'll probably be less jaded, and they'll think that the leads are better. They'll put more uh, research into it, and it'll just all be a better experience. I mean, people are people, and if you go through a few months of bad leads, eventually a salesperson's not going to sell as well anymore because they're just going to expect that the lead is bad versus somebody will always be on their game if they know that the leads are always good. So we start to then trickle into making the psyche of salespeople better as well. And maybe we could do a whole other webinar about that, Daniel. But um,
I
just
love
the
that.
idea that, yeah, the idea
It's
that everything will be better.
Yeah, it's so true that when you're focused on so much tasks that salespeople want to sell. That's what we genuinely love. We love having real conversations. We love talking to the right people. We love helping. That's what sales is. When you drown those people or anchor them down, having to spend hours over prospecting, having to spend hours qualifying, mass messaging, that's draining. It's physically, mentally draining. Now, if you
Yep.
can remove that or, a lot of that, and again, this utopia, imagine coming into the office and SalesAPE has in your calendar booked in 2, 3, 4 new high quality prospects. That you then get to go and talk to, knowing that they've gone through that criteria, that they've gone through that qualification, they've had a good experience so far as well. It's not been some sort of cold, spammy start. That's a much better mindset to be in. That's an exciting role to be in. And that's what I think the future of sales needs and is leading towards, where salespeople can come in and sell and do what they are good at doing. And Dom, I know we're both on the same page about this, that sales is it's about helping people, and when you do it, it's a great feeling. And I think we need to give our salespeople more of that time. Do you agree?
Yeah, no, the best salespeople, like we talked about before, not only know how to qualify and disqualify, but aren't salespeople at all. They're
Yeah, yeah,
consultants and
yeah.
they're problem solvers. And so it you could be the best problem solver you can be when you are prepared and something like a sales ape has all of the notes from a conversation in CRM, and you could just go in and be a business consultant. It's a completely different ballgame.
That was something we hadn't touched upon before. Just to reiterate that, so all the notes from the conversation that the sales ape agent is having is put into the CRM that the salesperson can then actually see their answers and stuff. Is that right?
That's right, theoretically. I mean, I say
Amazing.
theoretically because I mean we work with over 200 different CRMs, and sometimes the webhook abilities and the
Oh,
APIs are not there,
yeah,
but
yeah.
more often than not, yeah, like if it's a CRM that has some sort of open abilities, yeah, we're able to go back and forth. And so those salespeople are your closers, rather, I would say,
Yeah, yeah.
are much more they're more prepared when they're jumping on that call. And something to also think about. This is sometimes I'll speak with folks and like, oh, I don't want everybody to have to log into and learn another software. It's just not the case. Your sales team won't even know theoretically that this is even existing. All they're going to know is that there's just more things on their calendar. So there's no additional workload. We one of the biggest friction points that I've seen over the years is that people are always apprehensive to install new software or new services because of the uplift, because of the maintenance. We've positioned ourselves as a premium product, and we have all the implementation capabilities on our side. So you could just continue to work on your business and spend more on marketing and whatever you're doing, whether you're B2B or B2C, just focus on your customers. And our software, well, it's not really software, but our agent essentially is just working on its own and doing what it needs to do.
I think if you asked salespeople what the best sales tool is, it's the sales tool they don't have to use. And I mean, and it's not a bad thing. You don't have to look at that in a negative way. I think you nailed it. And the fact that this can work for the salesperson without them having to do anything, again, frees them up because a lot of sales tools require sales admin time. And if we can
Yep.
cut that out, then I'm all for it. I love it. Okay. Social selling tip on this one. It's quite an exciting one. I've got a video coming out tomorrow, the 12th, about this. LinkedIn Sales Navigator is launching their first agentic solution called Sales Assistant. So I'm going to be talking a bit about it in a video post tomorrow. This is, LinkedIn's own internal agentic solution to help salespeople. What it does is it finds prospects for you, gives you the sort of routes in, and then drafts messages for you. So again, LinkedIn is trying to help automate as much of this process. And again, if you've got something like this working, you've got SalesAPE working, I mean, That's the dream. I would happily go back into a sales role if this is what you're coming into, because God, that's freeing you up to be the best salesperson you can be. So I think we're in a very exciting time. I think salespeople are, and there's always been this talk of AI replacing salespeople. It's enhancing. It's just making it better. The best salespeople are going to be the ones that use these tools and then become, better than they've ever been before.
No, you're right, 100%. We're not trying to replace jobs at all. That's not what we're here for. We're here to enhance, like I mentioned. An intern is not going to replace anybody's job. It's just gonna A good intern is going to help everybody's job better, be more efficient and get more things done. And that's the position that we're looking at.
Exactly. Julius put it really well. AI's job is to handle speed and scale so humans can handle trust and emotion. Oh, what a quote. Julia, I love that. Stacey, AI is meant to enhance, not to replace. Well said. We've got some
That's right.
very articulate people here today. I love those. Okay, number 4, automate smart follow-ups. Another scary statistic here, and this has kind of been the same for quite a while actually, but 80% of sales occur after 5 to 12 follow-ups, and that number has kind of increased as sort of sales is become a noisy place. We are inundated with emails and messages, and it's not getting any better out there. So you do have to be quite persistent. Unfortunately, a lot of salespeople give up too early. 44% giving up after just one attempt. And I think there are two reasons for this. I think number one is poor training, but I do think if you are given too many unqualified leads, then you do give up a lot earlier because you're just trying to get through that list.
Right.
So if I'm walking in and I've got 200 leads to call, then I'm going to try and get through as many of those. Whereas if I come in and it's 10, quality leads, I'm going to be more persistent because I know there's interest. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Your next biggest customer could be somewhere in that lead list, and you've called them twice and they haven't called you back. You get annoyed, you go into a demo, and you go to the next batch. And so they're ready to buy from you. They're just not ready to pick up a phone or pick up a call. So it's definitely a big miss. They might go to a competitor. They might not do anything at all. But like we talked about before, just got to squeeze all the juice out of the lemon. 44% is just way too high.
I think we're learning that Dom has good analogies around fruit, apples, lemons. We're all about the fruit analogies today. I love it.
I must be
Um,
hungry.
yeah, Dom, tell us a little bit about. I know you talked about it a little bit earlier, but you mentioned about SalesAPE following up. Just talk us a little bit about how that process works.
Yes. So when the lead hits CRM, it will automatically follow up via any text-based channel. So SMS, email, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, and then we can also perhaps even put a web chat on the website as well.
That's amazing, and I've definitely seen huge conversions through text-based like WhatsApp, etc. That I still think the majority of salespeople aren't utilizing for a variety of reasons. So the fact that this is kind of built in and doing it for you, I think is phenomenal, because I think a lot of salespeople aren't even touching those channels, and yet they have some of the highest conversion rates.
Yeah, that's right. No, it's just so important to, at least from my opinion, voice calling after a lead comes in is just difficult because people are just busy
Hmm.
doing their own things, whether they're working or if it's B2C, if you're trying to sell something to a direct to consumer and it's like 9 p.m., they're not going to pick up the phone anyway. So, a text message, even if it's spam or if they think it's spam, they're still going to read it. Oh, this isn't spam.
Yeah.
That's right. I just asked for this service 3 minutes ago. Let me respond versus what is this phone number? So, and that's really where we talk about getting those higher conversion rates because we're focusing on channels that have the highest probability that people are actually going to respond. All of us are getting all of these calls. I mean, how many calls have you gotten probably in the past week that you didn't pick up? I'm sure there's probably at least 20.
Oh, at least.
Yeah.
But texts I read and respond.
Yep.
Um,
No,
yeah,
exactly.
it's amazing. Okay, so social selling tips on this one. Now, to be more present in your prospects and customers' mind, building your personal brand and being visible is such a powerful tool, and it doesn't take a lot of time. If you're showing up in their LinkedIn feed on a regular basis, that's the same in principle. It's a component of following up because you're there, you're in the front of their mind. So you might send a message or an email, or you've spoken to them and you've sent some follow-up details. They come in the next day, they see your content, or they see your comments, or they see you commenting on their content. It's all little reminders that help keep you present. And as long as that's value giving, so the content is value giving, the comments are value giving, then it's a positive presence that you have. And that's the beauty of it. You can be there essentially 24/7. If I put some content out, write some comments, that's just circulating. It just continues to circulate. And LinkedIn currently has a 2 week runtime. It's never really had that before. Content used to come and go within 24 hours. Now it is really pumped out for 2 weeks. I see
Wow.
engagement sort of, you get your 24-hour spike, then you get your first week spike. Now we're getting a 2 week spike. LinkedIn is really keeping you out in front of your customers' minds for a longer period of time, which is massively valuable. So being
Oh.
out there is amazing. Sorry, Dom.
No, I was gonna say I was just reiterating that I didn't even know about that 2 week thing. That's incredible. You post something on LinkedIn to your customers, and you can guarantee that at least for half of a month, there's going to be some sort of exposure there.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's literally been the last couple of months that they've been testing it, and it's working really well. And it's again just gives a lot more value to what we do on LinkedIn. So here are just a few quick tips on how you can build a personal brand. Number one is engage in content regularly. Every time you comment on a post, and if you comment on a few posts a day or a few times a week, your photo comes up, your name comes up, your headline comes up, and then your comments there. And that shows up when people are scrolling. There's your name, there's your name, there's your name. It's visibility. When you share a
Mm.
piece of content once, twice, three times plus a week, again, you're giving value, you're appearing on the feed for that, longer period of time. Grow your network. We've already seen people connecting and growing their networks here today, which is great. And the key is to be visible, be seen in your industry. Comment and create content relevant to your prospects and customers, and lead with a value giving mindset. This is the most empowering part of this. It's not about selling or spamming or anything like that. Just give help. Whoever you sell to, help them. When you help them and give them value, you build sort of relationships, and you create a scenario where they have a positive connection with you. And I kind of put this in an easy phrase, but if you want people to connect with you and follow you, you have to give them a reason to. And the only reason we follow or connect with people is because we get value from them. We like the content they share. We want to follow their journey. We're curious. We enjoy what they're putting out there. So make sure that's at the heart of your LinkedIn strategy, the engagement, the content, the comments, everything you do. Make sure it's really relevant and giving as much value as possible, and then you can stay at the front of your prospects and customers' mind on a much longer cycle. Right, let's wrap up with the final stage, and then we can open the floor for Q&A. Number 5 is using AI to know what's working and repeat. We are human. I mean, we are all limited. Some have, we're capable of more, but I am very aware of the limits, like memory. There are only so much we can physically do. And this is where I see AI massively helping us understand our customers, our industry, what is working, what isn't working, analysis, all those things that just physically can't do every single day. Now, what's scary? I've put a lot of scary statistics in this. 68% of salespeople don't follow any process at all. And I see this. I'm working with companies all over the world every single day. And it is scary how many either aren't following a process or are following a 10, 20-year-old process, which is not relevant at all. And this is where AI can be super effective at helping you build a system and that learns and repeats on what works. Now, Dom, I know you mentioned that SalesAPE is learning as it goes, and I think that's such a powerful part of AI and agents. Just tell us a little bit more. Obviously, you guys set
Yeah.
SalesAPE up, and then the more conversations it has, the better it gets ultimately.
Right, right. And so in this world of unpredictability, especially if you have a team, a very large team of salespeople to that metric from before, 68%, So if 7 out of 10 of my salespeople are not following the playbook and are not doing things the right way, what we're doing is we're adding a layer of predictability into the process. So anytime we could add science to a process to make things more predictable, everything becomes more predictable and you make more money. So that allows us to just make, at least from the qualification side of things, as predictable as we can because it's learning up front and also as it goes along. And it can also follow any strategy or any playbook, whether it's Sandler, spin, Bant, medic. You could have teach it, whatever you want to teach it to qualify, and that adds a little bit of a predictability into your pipeline.
And do you know what? It's the predictability and the consistency is built in the fact that it's doing what you tell it to do without the risk of human error, which again we're all capable of, whether it's the speed of response time. You can't, it's hard to guarantee that you physically yourself can respond within 5 minutes because you might be on a webinar, you might be in a meeting. So things like that
Right.
do make those, that at least that qualification process guaranteed. And that's such a valuable thing because again, having systems in that can do this, it's just a no-brainer in my head. Right, let's just recap on our process. So we want to respond to leads instantly with human sounding messaging, like we talked about. We want to qualify. Qualifying is such a big part of it. We want to craft converting replies to keep those conversations going with the right people, automate those smart follow-ups so that what we're getting through this are the right people in our calendars ready to speak to. And then we want to use the AI insights from what is working to continue learning and just become a better tool. So when your salespeople come in, when you come into the office, you have the right people in your calendar, your time is optimized, your customer's time is valued, and you're converting way more because you're talking to the right people. That's I keep saying it. It's the sales utopia. It's the sales world that we've all. If you've worked in sales, come on, this is what we've all been dreaming of for years, and I love that it is here. And honestly, mind blown. As soon as I saw SalesAPE in action, it was just like, wow, this is a phenomenal tool that's going to help so many companies. And again, benefits the customer, benefits the salesperson, everyone wins. We'll go through the Q&A in just a second. Here's the QR code again. Go and see for yourself. That's what I encourage. Not selling anything. There's no sort of money involved at this stage. Just go and see. That's all I encourage everyone to do. At best, put a couple of minutes, go and see it in action and give it a try. And if you're curious, book yourself in to talk to the team, let them show you how it could work. And you never know, you may end up using this and suddenly you're able to sell more. You're getting better people into your calendar, you're having better conversations. And maybe heading into 2026, you're able to massively improve your sales process. Why you wouldn't want to try it, I just don't know. And as I mentioned, the first 15 people to go and test it out, send me a little screenshot. Again, I'll send an email out very soon after this webinar. I will send a free copy of my book and some extra bonuses as well. Dom, I think this has been a phenomenal conversation. I can't thank you enough for the insights you've shared, both insights around SalesAPE, but also around sales in general. Just going to open the floor to anyone. If you have any questions, pop them in the chat box. And we'll answer as many as we can. But Dom, any sort of thoughts on you around what salespeople can do, what sales teams can do to be more effective?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think, outside of the idea of implementing AI, implementing what the idea of AI is predictability and being as rinse, wash, repeat as you can be. So even if you're not ready to adopt AI, I think adjusting your playbooks and coaching and just making sure that we're being as predictable as we can be is a good step in the right direction. So we actually have a question in there from Julia. What mindset shift do sales reps need to really thrive alongside AI? I think I could take that one. So
Yeah, go
I
for
don't
it.
really think there needs to be a mind shift at all. I think it's just understanding that the things that come through are going to just be more qualified, and they just need to be ready for the at bat. I'm going to get away from the fruit metaphors now. We'll go to sports, Daniel. So if you think of, everything as an at bat, if you know that you're going to get a good pitch, you're going to be ready for it. And I think it just forces sales reps to just be ready to go at every clip versus winging it.
I think what's very different and unique about a tool like SalesAPE is that the sales people don't even have to really know it, use it, touch it. It's just working for them, alongside them, which again makes it such a no-brainer. What I will say, anything new, any change, most people have resistance to. We're all scared of change. We all want to learn something new. So I think when we talk about mindset shifts, and it just needs a bit of coaching and support to help people over that hill, as such. And I think the other key thing to do is to have an embracing mindset, sort of almost like a jumping in the deep end. Just test and try and use different things. But again, with a tool like SalesAPE, where the sales team don't even have to utilize it, it's literally just going to benefit them. It's a no-brainer, and that's where I think tools are getting better, and I love that's how you've built it.
No, for sure. And I think there's definitely also a bit of a reticence with AI in the market. And I think somebody mentioned in the chat here, it's just worth a try. See what you think of it. It's this is akin to maybe 150 years ago when we moved over to electricity from candles. It's just a more efficient way of doing things. Now, less wax, less worry about fires, and electricity just allows us to be more efficient. And it's I feel we're similar in terms of where we're at of efficiency for businesses.
Dom, I'm going to label you the king of analogies. I think you threw
I,
out
I gotta cool it on
analogies.
them.
Valent has asked a good question, which where are the boundaries between the incoming sales assistant from LinkedIn and SalesAPE? I mean, I don't think there's necessarily boundaries. They're kind of very complementing things. The sales assistant is going to thrive and work within LinkedIn. SalesAPE is going to work on your website. So it's kind of like the ultimate complementing duo. Would you agree?
100%. Yeah, no, as long as we're all you know accessing the same information and we're able to follow up on it, it'll work great together.
Austin had some connection issues. Apologies yet to go through that. Yes, we'll be providing the slides and the full recording. So anything you might have missed, just check your emails. Give me half an hour to an hour to download the recording, get all the resources put together, but I'll get that sent out as soon as we close the webinar off. How does your AI compare to other sales AI? I mean, Dom, I'll let you share it. I think from my perspective, it's a very different tool because it's working for you without you having to do anything. It's not like a lot of the AI tools out there where you're very much involved.
Right.
It's kind of there just qualifying people for you. Dom, please, just
Yeah,
expand on
no,
that.
that's right. We live at this point what feels like an oversaturated world with AI doing everything. Like I mentioned before, some are customer service agents, some are doing CSM functions, some are cold calling, and so it's I think in terms of comparing, we're just hyper focused on inbound leads. I mean that would be the number one thing, and Daniel, to reiterate your point, very out of the box. It's not going to require much of your time. So turn it on, a couple of week implementation, and then at that point you're just off to the races, and you'll forget it's even there.
I mean, again, no brainer. Why wouldn't you want this? I just, yeah, honestly blown away. I think I get to see a lot of tools in what I do, and it is actually quite rare that I'm blown away because there's so much out there. But SalesAPE is hands down one of the must-haves for this year and going into next year. So I love what you've built. I think it's going to help. I know it's already helping a lot of companies and sales teams, and I think it's just going to help so many. I think that sort of wraps up the questions. So we'll end it. What I'm going to do is download the recording, put it all together, and send it out to everyone to the email you registered with. If you have any questions after today, feel free to message me. I'll put Dom's LinkedIn link in there as well. Make sure you connect with Dom. And if you have any questions, you can message Dom directly. I'll put a link to go and try SalesAPE for yourself. And like I said, just reply, show me the screenshot, and I'll send you a copy of my book and some extra bonuses. Dom, I can't thank you enough. It's been such a fun experience running this webinar with you. I've honestly really enjoyed it. I think we've got
Same.
some enjoyment from the crowd as well. So thank you so much for sparing some time and sharing all your amazing fruit and other analogies today as well.
Yes, thank you as well. Much appreciated. It was absolute pleasure.
Perfect. Well, thank you to everyone who's joined us live, to everyone who's watching the recording of this. Thank you. We hope you've enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, just ping me on LinkedIn or on email. And please do go and check out SalesAPE. Thank you to them for supporting this and for being such an incredible tool. Thank you to everyone. I'm going to end the webinar now so I can get all of this wonderful goodies and resources out to you. And we hope to see you on the next webinar very, very soon. Take care,
Thanks,
everyone.
everybody.